Today, we light the flame of wisdom, uncovering lessons from the quiet yet profound experience of living alone. Together, we'll explore timeless insights, practical tips, and wisdom shared by those who've walked this path. Living alone can be both a challenge and a gift, a space to grow, reflect, and rediscover what truly matters. What can solitude teach us about life's deeper meaning? Can the quiet moments reveal truths we might overlook in the noise of daily life? Today, we'll answer these questions and more, drawing from real stories and time-tested wisdom to light your path to a fulfilling and meaningful life. Living alone is often seen as a double-edged sword. It can be liberating, offering freedom from obligations and a chance to fully embrace who you are. Yet, on the other hand, it reveals challenges that are easy to overlook when surrounded by others. There's a strange mix of peace and vulnerability that comes with solitude. It's a state that strips away the noise of daily life, leaving space for deep introspection, but also, at times, a profound sense of isolation. As Aristotle wisely said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Solitude provides a unique environment to explore this truth. Without distractions, you are faced with the unfiltered reality of your own thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. This can be empowering, as it forces you to confront your strengths and weaknesses, but it also requires resilience to navigate the moments of uncertainty that come when there's no one else to rely on. For many, the quiet brings a sense of clarity. Decisions that once felt tangled in noise become clearer. The absence of constant interruptions allows time for creativity to flourish, for passions to be pursued without judgment. Yet, the same quiet can sometimes amplify fears, regrets, or unresolved emotions, leaving one to grapple with their weight. The truth about solitude is that it's not inherently good or bad. It's a mirror reflecting who you are at your core. Pause and consider this. What does solitude mean to you? Is it a refuge, a challenge, or a little of both? Take a moment to reflect and share your thoughts. The beauty of this conversation is that everyone's experience is different, shaped by their unique journey. Throughout history, some of the world's greatest thinkers have turned to solitude as a source of strength and wisdom. The Stoics, for example, viewed solitude not as a withdrawal but as an opportunity to master oneself. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, often wrote about finding peace within, regardless of external circumstances. He believed that solitude could teach us resilience by helping us focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Similarly, Zen Buddhism offers profound insights into the value of solitude. Zen teaches that true understanding comes when we quiet the mind and observe the world without judgment. Solitude, in this context, isn't about being physically alone but about achieving a state of mindfulness. It's about learning to sit with discomfort and finding peace in the simplicity of the present moment. Consider how these ancient philosophies apply to modern life. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, with notifications, social obligations, and endless distractions, solitude can be a revolutionary act. It gives us space to reflect, to breathe, and to reconnect with what truly matters. But embracing solitude requires intention. It's easy to fill the quiet with more noise, whether it's scrolling through endless feeds or distracting ourselves with tasks that lack purpose. True solitude is about sitting still long enough to hear your own thoughts and discovering what they have to say. So, what can we take from these teachings? First, solitude is an opportunity for self-reflection. It's a chance to step back, evaluate where you are, and consider where you want to go. Second, it teaches resilience. In solitude, you learn to rely on yourself, building strength and independence. And finally, solitude helps clarify your values. When the distractions fall away, you begin to see what's truly important in life. Living alone requires a heightened sense of awareness and preparedness. Without another person to rely on in emergencies, you become your own safety net. This is something many people discover only after facing unexpected challenges. For example, a woman shared how she installed an emergency lockbox outside her home after realizing that if something happened to her, no one would be able to help without breaking a window. The lockbox gave her peace of mind and ensured that trusted friends or family could access her home in an emergency. Small precautions like this can make a significant difference. Carrying a phone at all times, even in unlikely places like the shower, is another example. It might seem excessive at first, but it's a simple habit that could save your life. For those in more remote areas, investing in a medical alert system or smartwatch with emergency features adds another layer of security. Would you take similar precautions? Why or why not? It's worth considering what steps you can take today to feel safer and more prepared tomorrow. These actions aren't just about protecting yourself, they're about creating an environment where you can live independently with confidence. Safety is about more than avoiding harm, it's about creating a foundation that allows you to thrive. One of the most common challenges of living alone is facing moments of loneliness. This is true even for those who consider themselves introverts. Many people find that, over time, their social circles shrink. Friends move away, retire, or pass on, and building new connections can feel more challenging than ever. One man shared how he would go days without speaking to anyone after his spouse passed away. He loved his independence but missed the simple, casual interactions of daily life. For some, adopting a pet provides a sense of companionship that eases this loneliness. Pets bring routine, responsibility, and a comforting presence. A woman who lives alone shared how her dog gives her a reason to get out of the house each day, whether for a walk or a visit to the park. Another person described their cat as the one constant in their life, a source of comfort that made the house feel less empty. But is loneliness solved purely through external connection, or does it require inner growth as well? This is a question worth reflecting on. External connections can ease the ache of isolation, but finding peace within yourself is just as important. It's about learning to enjoy your own company, embracing the quiet, and filling your life with activities that bring joy and meaning. Here's a challenge for you. This week, call a loved one or reconnect with an old friend. Share how it feels to reach out, and if you're comfortable, let us know in the comments. Connection, even in small doses, can have a powerful impact on your well-being. Routines are often overlooked in discussions about living alone, but they hold an extraordinary power. They bring order to days that might otherwise feel unstructured and create a sense of stability that becomes even more valuable when external cues fade away. Without a partner's schedule or the rhythms of a bustling household, routines can become the foundation of a life well lived. Consider the story of a woman who began each day with a small but meaningful habit. Every morning, she played the same song while preparing breakfast. It wasn't elaborate, just a simple tune that lifted her mood and filled the quiet of her home with warmth. Over time, this became her anchor, a ritual that set the tone for the rest of her day. She described it not as something she had to do but as something she genuinely looked forward to. That song reminded her that each day, no matter how ordinary, was an opportunity to create moments of joy. Rituals like this provide structure when other sources of stability are no longer present. They don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. A morning walk, a favorite show at the same time each evening, or even watering plants can transform into a moment of grounding. These habits give a sense of purpose to the day, breaking it into manageable parts and offering something consistent to hold on to. The beauty of routines is that they don't just organize your time, they can also enhance your emotional well-being. They remind you that even the smallest actions hold meaning. A cup of tea prepared with care isn't just a beverage, it's a ritual of self-care. Folding laundry isn't just a chore, it's a reminder of the comfort that comes from creating a welcoming space for yourself. These small, consistent actions accumulate, shaping not only your days but also your sense of purpose. So, how can you create meaningful daily habits? The answer lies in identifying what brings you joy and incorporating it into your routine. If you love nature, make time to step outside each day. If you enjoy cooking, experiment with new recipes and turn mealtime into an event. Whatever it is, let it be something that nourishes your soul and reminds you of what matters most. There are 3 key lessons to take away from this. Create routines that bring you joy. Let them be a source of comfort and positivity. Simple rituals anchor your day. They give you something to rely on, no matter what else changes. Purpose comes from small, consistent actions. Even the simplest habits can add meaning to your life. Living alone often brings a new awareness of the things we choose to surround ourselves with. Every object in your home holds a story, a memory, or a sense of utility. Over time, though, these items can accumulate, creating clutter that no longer serves you. Embracing simplicity isn't just about reducing physical possessions, it's about letting go of what weighs you down emotionally and mentally. Think about the objects you own. Some hold practical value, like a favorite mug or a well-loved chair. Others carry emotional significance, like a photograph from a cherished moment or a gift from someone important. But not everything we keep has this same meaning. Sometimes, we hold on to things out of habit, guilt, or a reluctance to face the emotions tied to letting them go. A woman once shared her experience of decluttering after years of living alone. She realized that many of her belongings no longer reflected who she was or how she wanted to live. Old clothes she hadn't worn in years, books she no longer felt connected to, and trinkets that had lost their sentimental value were taking up space in her home and her mind. She described the process of sorting through these items as both liberating and emotional. Each item she let go of felt like closing a chapter of her life, but it also made room for new chapters to begin. Decluttering isn't about discarding everything or striving for perfection. It's about making intentional choices about what you want your space, and by extension, your life, to represent. Every object you keep should reflect your values, your priorities, and the person you are today. This process can bring clarity, helping you focus on what truly matters. Ask yourself, what do you want your space to reflect about your life? Does it tell a story of joy, peace, and fulfillment? Or does it feel weighed down by things that no longer align with who you are? Taking the time to answer these questions can be a powerful exercise in self-discovery. Letting go isn't always easy, and that's okay. Some items carry deep emotional ties, and parting with them can feel like losing a piece of yourself. But it's important to remember that the memories tied to those objects don't disappear when the objects do. They live on in your heart and your mind. When you make space in your home, you also make space for growth, for new experiences, and for the things that truly bring you joy. Here's something to reflect on. What's one item you've kept for its meaning? Think about why it matters to you and what it represents. Sharing your story might inspire others to look at their own belongings in a new light. Sometimes, the act of choosing what to keep and what to let go of can be as meaningful as the items themselves. Simplifying your surroundings doesn't mean living without, it means living with intention. When you reduce the clutter in your physical space, you often find that your mental space feels lighter too. And in that lightness, there's room for clarity, peace, and a deeper connection to what makes life fulfilling. Challenges come in many forms, but they all share one truth: they shape us. They test our strength, push our limits, and often reveal parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. Living alone can present its own unique challenges, especially as life changes and the years pass. Yet, there is wisdom in those challenges if we take the time to see it. As Lord Byron said, adversity is the first path to truth. It's often through the hard times that we discover what we're capable of and learn to appreciate the resilience we carry within us. For some, it's the challenge of adapting to life without a partner after decades of sharing everything. For others, it's facing the loneliness of a quiet home and finding ways to fill it with purpose and joy. Take, for example, the story of an older man who lost his spouse and found himself at a crossroads. The silence in his house was overwhelming, and the days seemed to stretch endlessly. At first, he felt stuck, unsure of how to move forward. But rather than let the sadness consume him, he chose to turn his grief into action. He began volunteering at a local community center, helping organize activities for children. This gave him a reason to get out of bed each day, and more importantly, it gave him a renewed sense of purpose. He said that through helping others, he found healing for himself. Another example is a woman who faced the challenge of losing her mobility after an accident. Living alone made this even harder, as she no longer had the independence she once enjoyed. But instead of giving up, she learned to adapt. She rearranged her home to make it more accessible and took up painting, something she had always wanted to try but never had the time for. Her paintings became a way for her to express herself and connect with others. She shared her work online and found a community of people who encouraged and inspired her. These stories remind us that while challenges can feel overwhelming, they also present opportunities to grow. The key is to approach them with curiosity and courage, asking not just, "Why is this happening?" but also, "What can I learn from this?" Adversity, though painful, has a way of stripping away what doesn't matter and sharpening our focus on what truly does. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. What's one challenge you've turned into an opportunity? Maybe it was a setback that taught you resilience or a difficult moment that led you to discover something new about yourself. Whatever it may be, your story matters. Share it in the comments and inspire others who might be walking a similar path. Challenges are inevitable, but they can also be the source of our greatest wisdom. Living alone doesn't have to mean being disconnected. In fact, it can be an opportunity to create a social life that reflects who you truly are. Without the compromises that come with shared living, you have the freedom to design your interactions and connections in a way that feels meaningful and fulfilling. One way to stay socially active is by hosting events in your own home. These don't have to be elaborate or time-consuming. A simple gathering for tea, a book club meeting, or a game night can create moments of connection and joy. Hosting gives you the chance to shape the environment, setting the tone for the kind of interactions you want to have. It's also a way to bring people into your world and share what matters to you. Another option is joining clubs or groups that align with your interests. Whether it's a gardening club, a walking group, or a local history society, these gatherings offer a chance to meet people who share your passions. For instance, a man in his 60s started a Sunday walking group in his neighborhood. Each week, they explored a new trail, enjoying the fresh air and each other's company. What started as a small idea quickly grew into a beloved tradition that brought people together. Social connection doesn't have to come from large events or grand gestures. Sometimes, it's the small, consistent interactions that mean the most. A friendly chat with a neighbor, a phone call to a friend, or even participating in an online community can add richness to your days. The important thing is to be intentional about making those connections. Instead of waiting for invitations to come to you, take the first step and create opportunities to connect. Ask yourself, how can I design a social life that reflects my interests and values? If you love crafts, invite others to join you for a DIY night. If you enjoy movies, host a regular movie night where you can share your favorite films. If you're passionate about a cause, consider volunteering or organizing an event that brings people together around that cause. The possibilities are endless, and the rewards are profound. Remember, living alone gives you the freedom to choose who you spend time with and how you connect. This is your chance to build a social life that feels authentic and fulfilling. Start small, take one step at a time, and watch as those connections grow. You might be surprised at how much joy and meaning they can bring to your life. Solitude is often misunderstood. Many people see it as emptiness or something to avoid, but solitude can be one of life's greatest gifts. It offers something that is rare in a world full of distractions, a space to grow, to reflect, and to reconnect with what matters most. In solitude, we find the quiet needed to truly listen to ourselves. It's a time to pause and take stock of our lives, to identify what's working and what isn't, and to make choices that align with who we want to be. Through solitude, self-awareness blossoms. Without the constant influence of others, you begin to understand yourself in a deeper way. What brings you joy? What drains your energy? What dreams have you put on hold? These questions become clearer when you spend time alone. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing your strengths and weaknesses, it's about embracing all parts of yourself, even the ones you're still working to improve. When you are aware of who you are, you can make decisions that feel authentic and fulfilling. Solitude is also an opportunity to design your life. When you live alone, you have the freedom to create routines and habits that reflect your values. There's no need to compromise or fit into someone else's expectations. You get to choose how you spend your time, what you focus on, and what kind of environment you build for yourself. This freedom is empowering, but it also requires intention. Designing a life that brings you joy and meaning takes effort, but the rewards are worth it. Finally, solitude reminds us that community is built, not found. Relationships don't just happen, they require time, care, and attention. Living alone gives you the chance to create connections that are intentional and meaningful. It might mean reaching out to a friend, joining a group, or even starting something new that brings people together. Community isn't about having a large number of people around you, it's about cultivating relationships that feel genuine and supportive. There are 3 key lessons to take away. Solitude fosters self-awareness. It helps you are and what you need. It's an opportunity to design your life. Living alone allows you to build a life that reflects your values. Community is built, not found. Relationships take effort, but they bring connection and meaning to life. What's your favorite lesson from today's video? Let us know which part resonated with you most. This week, practice one of the lessons we discussed. Whether it's building a new routine, reaching out to someone, or spending time reflecting, take a step toward a more fulfilling life. Share your experience with us. What wisdom have you learned from solitude? Your story could inspire someone else. Let's start a conversation and learn from one another. As we come to the end of this journey, remember that solitude is not something to fear or avoid. It's a space to grow, to reflect, and to discover the wisdom within you. Each day brings new opportunities to learn, to connect, and to create a life that feels true to who you are. May your wisdom grow brighter with every step. If this video inspired you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Flame of Wisdom for more insights. And as always, until next time, keep your flame burning bright.